Hello and welcome to Asia Calling, your window on Asia. In today's program, the Singapore government accused of trying to silence opposition voices online, and the fate of Afghan interpreters who worked for foreign troops. Also, former political prisoners in Myanmar struggling to be accepted back into normal life. Welcome to the program. I'm Rebecca Henschke. Newspapers and television have long been tightly supervised in Singapore. Online is the one place where you can find criticism of the government and alternative views. But critics say the government is now trying to silence the online media with a new licensing framework for local news sites. Satish Cheney reports.
Songs of protest fill the air.
Just one life.
Some expressing themselves with placards, others using more creative ways. 2,000 people are here at Singapore's Hong Lim Park to protest against the government's new regulations for news websites.
This law hangs like a guillotine over people's head. It induces fear and it deters people from speaking freely online. And using fear as a tool of silencing people or making people feel very careful about what they say is something that should be done away with.
The new rules will affect websites that report on local news and receive at least 50,000 unique visitors a month from Singapore. Those sites selected will have to apply for an annual license from the government and pay about 50,000 Singaporean dollars bond. If the government doesn't like what they post, they will have to remove the content within 24 hours. 10 major commercial news sites have already been asked to apply for a license. All the sites belong to two state-linked media companies. The only exception is US tech giant Yahoo, which has a newsroom in the city-state. However, none of the alternative news websites have been asked to apply for the license, but organisers of the protest feel that the regulations potentially could mean death for their websites.
The actual law defines a Singapore news program as everything under the sun. So when they say it will apply only to news sites, this cannot give Singaporeans any sort of confidence because the way they frame the legislation catches everyone. And now the threat of regulation is upon every Singaporean who blogs, who writes, who cares about what he consumes on the internet.
But the government insists the changes will not affect blogs and personal commentaries. They say the new rules are about regulating the online media in the same way the traditional press is.
Nothing in the existing regulations today covers blogs, commentaries, even commentators on the online space. So to a certain extent, a lot of these, I suppose, bloggers who have certain fears, at this point there is no need to fear. I mean, given the intent and the light touch the government is committed to the internet space.
Mr. Zaki says the regulations are mainly to stop content, such as pornography, as well as sensitive topics dealing with race and religion.
It was not that long ago, if you look at Singapore's history, where we had racial riots. And even today, if you look at the region in which we live in, it's a volatile region with respect to if you talk about religion and race. And I think this is where we also want to avoid any religious or racial discourse. So to a certain sense, given how online media could be used because of the virality of news and content, this is an area in which I think we need to be very cautious about.
But critics are quick to point out the government's dismal record on free speech. On the Reporters Without Borders press freedom list, Singapore ranks near the bottom of 179 countries in terms of press freedom. Many at this protest believe the changes are an attempt to curtail the non-mainstream media's role in the next general election. But some say the government will not silence dissent online.
If they were to force websites that are critical of them politically to shut down, there would be a backlash. Completely. There's no way that they could do that without a political backlash. So the only way
that they could do it is to do it in the way that China does it, is to completely black out all the social media, which is not possible in Singapore.
Meanwhile, protest organizers say their campaign has just begun and will not end till the laws are revoked. For Asia Calling TV, this is Satish Cheney from Singapore.